Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video, let's bring you a closer look at the Stanley number FBB199 4.5 by 4.5 32D hinge is what this is. This is a fairly common hinge, and let's discuss it. Let's dissect the part number. FBB, it's going to be a full mortise ball bearing hinge. Full mortise. You can see from the swag on the hinge leaves there that when the leaves are brought parallel, they're meant to be flush to the edge of the door and to the frame. Very smooth bearing action on this. Incredibly smooth. That's different than other hinges. That's nice, and it's so smooth like that. Full mortise, 5 knuckle. 1, 2, 3. You can see why we call it 5 knuckle. It's a ball bearing hinge, so you've got bearing packets between each of the knuckle interfaces. When on a heavyweight hinge, which is inferred in the 199, meaning that the leaf thickness is 180 thousandths thick, you'll have 4 bearing packets versus 2 when you have a standard weight hinge. Now the 199 also infers a non-ferrous base material, and then the 32D tells us 2 things. It tells us that it's a stainless base material along with a satin brushed finish on it. Okay, 4.5 by 4.5 is the size, and the height is the first dimension on a hinge like this. It's important to know that the height is the first dimension. So measuring hinges is the opposite of how doors are. It's width and then height for a door, but on a hinge it's height and then width. Maybe not a big deal when you have a square hinge, but if you're dealing with a 5 by 4.5, or more commonly a 4.5 by 4, or let's say a wide throw hinge, 4.5 by 7, you need to know which is the height so as not to make the doors wrong. If you're dealing with a 4.5 by 4, very commonly seen in aluminum storefront doors, you want to be sure you order the right hinge, is the bottom line. So the height's the first dimension. Okay. The location of the screw holes is what's called template. It's an industry standard. There's a link below this video to a document called Template that will allow you to review the dimensional properties of the hinge and the location of the screw holes, along with several other hinge part numbers from Stanley that all share the same dimensional properties, especially when it comes to the screw holes. So if you have any cause for doubt regarding where the holes are located for the screws, which are included, by the way, you're going to get all wood and all machine screws. These are stainless as well, just held them up to a magnet there. Template hole pattern on the screws: heavyweight stainless steel base, stainless steel pin, permanently lubricated non-detachable ball bearings. Reversible flush button tips. These tips are called button because they look like the button on a coat naturally. You can pull that out. You can stick something in there to drive that pin. Should you want to hang the hinge this way, you could reverse those should you want to. Okay. Available as a non-removable pin, where there would be a set screw drilled and tapped into the barrel, and then the hinge pin itself would have a notch cut in it. And that set screw, when tightened in, is going to go into that notch, preventing the removal of the pin from the exterior of the door. So when you're presented with this, you can't drive that pin out. It's practically impossible to do that, having tried in the past. So that's an option. When it comes to options, Stanley, of course, their name is synonymous with hinges and has been certainly since the 19th century. They can do every possible option for hinges. They have full custom capabilities, lots of different options in terms of course, size and base material, and requirements in terms of security applications. Different sorts of applications, everything from residential to commercial to industrial to institutional to detention sort of applications they can help with. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Stanley products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, and then a link to the full product catalog where you can review all things Stanley. A nice reason to visit that catalog is if you are in a position in your work to need to understand how much weight can a hinge hold, how many hinges would be recommended, other guidelines, especially like, for instance, the formula for determining a wide throw hinge width. It's all in the initial parts of that catalog, along with definitions of standard industry terms, such as defining the difference between full surface and full mortise and half surface and half mortise and things of that nature. If you have any questions on the Stanley FBB199 4.5 by 4.5 32D hinge or any other Stanley product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.